Hey everybody. I recently did some analysis that left me with kind of surprising results. I went in thinking to myself, okay, I feel that Parting Gift is overrated. I don't get a lot of consistent value out of this talent. I look at other people's gameplay. I don't think they're getting kills left and right with it. How good really is Parting Gift? And so to solve this, I watched the last 10 Tracer games played by 3 different ranged assassin players who are prominent in HGC. I watched 10 Tracer games, the last 10 Tracer games played by each, from Poik, from Schwimpy, and from Rich, combining for 30 games. And in these 30 games, I found that these players only generated 3 kills with Parting Gift. Kills that would have not happened otherwise without Parting Gift. And while I was looking through that, because I didn't watch the entire game, I went on Master League, I sort of saw where the kills were happening in each game, and then I looked at each replay at that time frame to see whether or not Parting Gift played into that kill, and that's how I got only that 3 kill amount. But even just with that limited view, because otherwise watching the entirety of every single game would have taken forever, even with that limited view, I even found that the players were actually missing kills sometimes, trying to go for Parting Gift when they had the kill otherwise, and just while watching this, I saw Rich do it twice. Rich gave up 2 kills that he would have had he not pressed recall, but he actually got baited into using Parting Gift trying to finish off the target, and so he himself was one of the 3 kills generated, and he actually lost 2 kills just in the time frame that I saw, so he got negative value out of the talent. This actually made him play worse. And I think that overall it wouldn't surprise me if that's how it would look if I watched the entirety of these 30 games, if more kills were actually missed going for Parting Gift than were secured with Parting Gift. This talent sort of just baits you into using recall at bad times, and recall is, in my opinion, your real ultimate. This is your most important ability. While it's on cooldown, you cannot play nearly as aggressive nor nearly as defensive. You kind of just have to be, out on the outskirts, not taking any risks whatsoever, not having nearly as much of an impact on the game as you normally would. On the other hand, Is That a Health Pack and Untouchable are surprisingly consistent performers. A lot of people look at Is That a Health Pack and they think it doesn't really do much, but honestly, Is That a Health Pack? You compare it to your options. Like, for example, Untouchable doesn't really do anything in the early game, and as I just mentioned, Parting Gift really doesn't do anything at all for most people most of the time, and everybody thinks they're an exception. I've told a lot of people about this analysis. They're always like, I'm that one guy that can do it right. I can hit the Parting Gift, and I tell them, let's go watch your replays, and then we watch the replays, and turns out they're not hitting it either. Is That a Health Pack provides you that consistent value in the early game. You're not super dependent on having your Malfurion. It allows you to sort of flex into healers that maybe aren't the best for Tracer and maybe feel a little bit more comfortable picking this hero. Obviously, Tassadar is completely just off the table. They threw him out when they reworked him. He's no longer a support at all. So this is definitely an appreciated talent, especially on maps where there are healing fountains right next to the objectives. Because on these maps, you can go over and tap the healing fountain right before a fight's about to happen. This is big on like Volskaya Foundry, Towers of Doom, and then go into the fight with effectively 2 health bars. So this is a very consistent performer, always going to help you out a lot in the early game, and even in the late game on certain maps. So I would definitely recommend Is That a Health Pack actually in a lot of my games. Or sorry, just in a lot of your games in general. Then over here we have Untouchable, which I think people get confused about. They look at Untouchable and they see, okay, it takes 15 takedowns to max out. And what they don't realize is that you don't actually need to hit those 15 takedowns for this to be the best talent on the tier. Realistically, if you have 3 takedowns, this is probably going to be the biggest contributor out of these 3 level 4 talents in the late game. Especially when you start factoring in that Ricochet, these bouncing attacks also get buffed by Untouchable. You're looking at a lot of extra bonus damage here from Untouchable. You should just be asking yourself, do I need that early game damage? Can I get these late game taps? Do I think I'm going to be able to hold a few takedowns going into the late game? Because as I mentioned, when you're not thinking about that 15 takedowns and all that, when you're thinking about playing safe when you've got stacks, like, oh, I've got 5 stacks, I need to dial it back, I just need to play safe, play slow, Untouchable actually turns into pretty consistent value. So I highly recommend, after this analysis that I've done and after just experiencing it in my own games and talking about it with so many people, I highly recommend that you just basically don't ever pick Parting Gift. I think that there are a few niche scenarios where it's still probably the best talent, such as if you're trying to hard burst someone off of CC. Like your teammate stuns someone in place and you're trying to hard burst them, I think it could still work there. I used it a few weeks ago to beat a Sergeant Hammer, because I knew the Sergeant Hammer would be rooted in place. Whenever she was in siege mode, I could roll up on her, do my burst combo, parting gift, that kind of jazz. But overall, I think that these are only a very small amount of the overall situations that you're going to be using with Tracer. And in the vast majority of games, you should be picking, is that a health pack or Untouchable, and not parting gift. And that goes against the conventional wisdom. I've had a bunch of people call me a troll for it, but the analysis doesn't lie. Give these ones a shot. Just think about it for yourself, pick whatever fits that game, and let me know how it goes.